The peer evaluation tool has been in use on the UD campus since fall 2011. In spring 2013, the ability to collect product evaluations is being added. When you enter the system for the first time, it is a good idea to take a look at the help. Read the general instructions on the help screen. Then expand glossary terms or how do I entries to dig into the details. Opening the relevant how do I entry is probably the quickest way to learn what you need to do. If the thing you are looking for is missing, let us know by clicking the user feedback link, which can be found at any time at the bottom of your page. Returning to the Project Options tab, you can see that a list of existing projects appears in the menu panel. When you are first getting started, this list will be empty. Active projects are blue and appear at the top of the list. Inactive projects are gray and appear at the bottom. In Student View, only active projects are visible. Note that the Summary tab is not currently selectable. This is because no existing project has been selected from the project menu. Let's select a project now. Now that a project has been selected, its summary options become available. This tab contains export options, as well as the best way to display all students' groups for large classes. The Student View tab can be used when demonstrating the system for your students, or just to experience the peer evaluation tool from the student's eye view. We will leave this closed for now. To get started with a project of your own, switch to the Create New Project tab. This action will launch the project creation wizard. The wizard will walk you through the project creation process step by step. After completing each step, click Next Step to continue. You can also exit the wizard at any time and continue editing in a less structured fashion. In this demonstration, we will complete the first 3 steps in the wizard and then exit. Step 2 is new as of spring 2013. In older versions, peer evaluation referred only to feedback students provide for others within their own collaborative group. Now you can assign peer feedback, product feedback, or both. Peer feedback is used when groups of students collaboratively complete an assignment. Students evaluate one another's contributions within each group. The new type of feedback, labeled product, is designed so that students evaluate the completed assignment or presentation of another student or group of students. As of this writing, students will only be able to provide feedback for the products other groups submit, not their own. Currently, the system does not provide a mechanism for viewing the products themselves. Access to student products must be provided by the instructor through other means. The default choice for project type is peer only. For this demonstration, we will choose to collect both peer and product feedback. At step 3, there are 2 decisions to be made. Recall that only active projects can be viewed by students. If you deactivate a project before it is created, you can activate at a later date. This gives you time to review and revise your projects without worrying that students will see your first drafts. The self-evaluation option is relevant only for peer feedback. Self-evaluation of a product is not an option at this time. The wizard includes all the steps necessary to create and customize a project. However, for this demonstration, we will complete the rest of the steps outside the wizard. Note that when you edit or copy an existing project, you will not have the option of using a wizard. The wizard is available for new projects only. Here is the view of the project settings outside of the wizard. Note that the steps we completed within the wizard are still available and can still be changed. The next thing to do is customize the rubric or rubrics. Since we elected to collect both peer and product feedback, there are 2 rubrics to consider. Click on the title bar of a rubric to view and edit the default contents. This is the default rubric for peer feedback. To edit or delete any element, click its green pencil icon. To add new elements, Click the Add New Evaluation Category button in the gray toolbar. Other toolbar buttons can be used to format text within the introductory instruction text, but not within a category description. Once you have finished customizing your rubrics, it is time to create your student groups. When working outside the wizard, it is a good idea to collapse both rubric panels to unclutter your workspace. In this screenshot, the group list field has been highlighted. There are two methods for separating your full roster into student groups. In the group by group method, you enter each group of student IDs separately, and use the create group repeatedly to create each group. I will demonstrate that method first. Note that I have pasted in 3 student UDELnet IDs. When I click the Create Group button, the newly created group appear in the groups listing on the right side of the screen. Now you are ready to paste in your next group of students. In addition to UDELnet IDs, UDUDs or email addresses may be used. When product feedback is enabled for a project, a text entry box will appear in each newly created group. If desired, you can edit the names of the products so that students from other groups can more readily identify them. It is not possible for student groups to name their own products within the system. By default, an initial one-person group is created for each project. This group contains only the instructor and does not have an associated product, even when both peer and product feedback are active. If you wish to delete this group, do so only after creating all other groups, and be aware that doing so will disable your ability to view the project in Student View. It is also the case that projects with no self-evaluation are not visible in Student View, unless you add a colleague to the instructor group. In this screenshot, I have deleted the student group created previously, in order to demonstrate the second method of creating groups. First, paste your entire student roster into the group creation text area. Then click Use as Roster. Now your roster appears in a large box on the left, and no new groups have yet been created. You can create groups randomly using the roster options at the very top of this screenshot. Simply enter the maximum number of students to put in each group, and click Go. Alternatively, you can create empty groups and drag students from the roster into the groups one by one. There are group creation buttons available at both the top and the bottom of this interface. In this screenshot, I have generated random groups of 3 or less. I can now fine-tune my groups by dragging members from one group to another. It is a good idea to check to make sure the last group has enough members. In this case, there was one straight student left over after all the rest were assigned to a group of 3. No problem. I will simply drag the lone student into the group above, and delete the resulting empty group. Once you have created your student groups, check over the entire project one last time, and then click either Create Project or Submit to save your work. If you think you may want to make changes to your project's settings, groups, or rubrics before releasing to students, simply uncheck the Activate checkbox before submitting. If active, your new project will appear at the very top of your project menu. If inactive, it will appear directly below your oldest active project, and the title will be gray. Either way, you can click on the new project's name to view additional options. Whenever a project has been selected, the Project Options tab allows the instructor to perform the following operations: release grades, activate or deactivate, email students, edit the project, copy the project, or delete the project. In the case of an active project, the most important thing is to send students an email with a link to the tool, so that they can easily access the evaluations they need to complete. For this purpose, choose the Notify button. Email generated with the Notify utility can be sent to all students, individual student groups, or only those who have failed to complete one or more evaluations. Although it is possible to edit the message body, the default message contains a link to the peer evaluation tool, which should not be deleted. Each message sent by the Notify system will be addressed to the instructor, with a blind carbon copy to the selected student recipients.